Sister Location, the sixth installment in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. It came out in 2016, and it blew my mind. I was around 12 years old, and as soon as I saw Circus Baby, Ballora, the weird monkey thing, Ennard, and the exotic butters, I was hooked. I had loved FNAF ever since the first one came out in 2014. The other 4 games, I'm gonna ignore FNAF World. The first 4 games that came out all followed practically the same structure. 5 nights in the same room doing the same tasks as each night gets progressively harder. I still loved this gameplay style, but Sister Location was my renaissance. Baby, my Da Vinci. Bonbon, my Michelangelo. And Exotic Butters, my Isaac Newton. 2016. The year everything changed. Not for any other reason, but just because Sister Location came out. But why exactly did I like this game so much? Well, I loved the characters. I loved getting new characters that weren't just reskins of the old ones. Ballora, Circus Baby, Ennard, Exotic Butters. They were all super cool looking and seriously freaked me out. I loved the fact that their faceplates opened up during the jump scares. That was terrifying. This was also the time before I got a computer, so I could only play this game by living vicariously through Markiplier. And I also was scared of everything. So this game, to me, was the scariest thing I had seen at that age. I would have nightmares of Freddy at my bedside or having to try to escape the pizzeria. Now, I'm more afraid of getting robbed and doing taxes. So I think my worst fear would be if I saw Freddy at my bedside and also he was dressed up as an IRS agent. But playing this game as an 18-year-old creates an interesting dilemma. I don't think this game is that good anymore. And listen, before you sharpen your pitchforks or light your torches, just hear me out. I've played it twice through myself now, and I have some things that might sway your opinion that have swayed my opinion drastically. This game is built on minigames. Not like arcade-style minigames, but more like little challenges through the night that build to the overarching story of the game. And I already have a problem with this. This game is built more like a one-off experience rather than a replayable game. YouTube creator, created a really good video about this entire problem. This game isn't replayable. Or at least it's not very fun to replay. In this game, there is so much dialogue, so much lore, so much story, and barely any tangible gameplay that it doesn't even really feel like a game. Like, holy crap, Baby talks for like 4 minutes before I can even do anything interesting. And after the last video I posted, I quickly realized I don't know anything about the FNAF lore. I thought I did. I thought I knew pieces. I don't. I see the word mimic and I want to cry. What is that? Who is Edwin? I know nothing of him, and I don't want to know anything of him. So I'm not going to be discussing any lore at all because I honestly don't think I'll be able to take it. I'm not mentally prepared for that. Go somewhere else for that. I'm going to talk strictly about the gameplay and what exactly is in the game. What it did right and what it did very, very wrong. I'm not sure if this is a popular opinion, but I really liked Ballora's mechanics in Night 2. Having to listen to her around you, listen to the creepy music box music, having to figure out where she is at all times to not run into her, is terrifying. And then seeing her shadow go over right in front of you, it's also terrifying. It reminded me of sneaking out of my room to get a snack in the middle of the night and having to listen to parental noises around me to prevent me from getting caught. And then when I did get caught, their faces would open up and they would expel a blood-curdling shriek, and then I would die. And this game segment made me really nostalgic for that. I will say that in this segment, the movement that Ballora makes right in front of the screen is scripted, and you can definitely tell if you die a bunch, and then you just have to replay it over and over, and you can tell when she's about to go in front of you, which does kind of take away some of the creepiness. And it adds on to that factor of unreplayability because you know where she's gonna be at some point, and it takes away the mystery and the fun of it. Because if you know where she's gonna be, why should you be scared? Also in Night 2, I really like the breaker room. Not knowing what you're doing makes this segment really hard, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes pretty easy. And I like the flashing lights showing Freddy getting closer. And as much as I struggled with the spring locks in Night 4, I really like that part. I know a lot of people hate it because of how hard it is, but I really like the challenge. On my first playthrough, it straight up took me a whole hour to do that part. But on my last run, I did it in 20 minutes. Easy dub for me, I thinksies. Me thinksies. Yes! Easy dub for me thinksies. And I was right. Now on to what I didn't quite like. None of the minigames teach you anything. Now I don't mean lore-wise, and no, they don't teach you math. I mean all the minigames are completely separate from each other. Most games as they progress will slowly add in new mechanics that will help you on later. An example of this is in Little Nightmares 2, which is one of my favorite horror games. In this game, you learn how to smack little ceramic children with a hammer, but this mechanic doesn't just go away, used only once. It comes back later during a little boss fight with a hand and you have to smack it with a hammer again. Strange example, but hopefully you know what I mean. This location really didn't have a lot of reoccurring gameplay or things you needed to do again. The only thing I can really think of is at the beginning of each night when you need to turn on the light and then electrocute the things. And then maybe if you count Ballora and Funtime Foxy segments where you need to use audio or visual cues to let you know if you need to go forward or stay. But those are kind of the only cases. The sound button in the breaker room or restarting the system in the breaker room, it never returns. You never have to wind up any other spring lock suits again. And when you go under the table and you have to like hold the door closed, that only happens once. And I feel like it would have been really cool if they brought back that kind of gameplay for another little mini game. In general, this kind of shows it's less of a game, but rather a playable story. And for the specific sections I disliked, I have to talk about Baby's little arcade minigame. When you die during the 5 nights, there's a slight chance that a minigame appears where you have to pick up cupcakes, shoot them at innocent children, and if you tag all of these children in the correct order and they are happy and full, at the end an ice cream appears. You grab that ice cream and run all the way back to the beginning and you hand it to a little Elizabeth Afton. She dies. Oops. It took me more than 90 minutes to do this. I have never wanted to die more than attempting this minigame. And I know this time it was mostly my fault, I will admit that. But I didn't even enjoy the challenge of trying to beat this. I'm like right there! No, I'm not gonna make it! Why do I have I just got sticky keys! I hate you! Okay, this has to be player error, right? Like, it cannot be this... I'm gonna kill myself again. I just wanted death so badly. And I got it multiple times. No! Oh, I'm getting a cramp in my hand. My hand hurts. Why? Sticky keys!
Maybe you're not the best gamer, but you are a gamer. You need to own that.
Yeah, like far from the best, like not even close to the top, like actually kind of
Anyone can make these mistakes.
You're crazy.
I've been going crazy.
Okay, right there.
I didn't realize you could just spam the cupcakes until halfway through, and I got to the end multiple times without realizing that you had to actually press the shoot button with the ice cream to get Elizabeth Afton to come out. It was so infuriating.
I'm gonna make it with like 1 second.
Yup. Go on! And the fact that this is probably incredibly difficult to do in the actual game, that they had to create a separate button in the menu to make you be able to do this over and over and over again. I'm shooting! I did it! Die, child, die. Die. And then, the only way to get into the Ennard boss battle segment is to do this stupid little cupcake minigame. Don't even get me started on the Ennard room. Why couldn't this be more integrated with the actual game? This part was most like the other FNAF games, having to check cameras, listen to audio cues, and close the doors. It wasn't a bad segment, it just pissed me off that you had to do this completely separate little minigame to even get into that area. And I know it was a part of the other ending, but it just sucks that one of the best parts of this game, most people probably won't play through because they don't want to beat that stupid little circus baby cupcake freak game. Which I'm totally surprised by. Why wouldn't you want to play that? It looks fun. Earlier, I brought up how much Baby talks in this game, but it's not just Baby. It is the whole hand unit too. The elevator and the beginning tasks take up multiple minutes in each night. And it's mostly just hand unit talking and nothing really interesting happening. Especially on replay, the talking and the waiting makes this game so unreplayable. I don't want to listen to Baby ramble for 2 minutes before anything happens. I don't want to hear the teen angst hand unit section anymore. I just don't care. It's like I'm being trauma dumped at a shift at McDonald's. I'm not getting paid to listen. Of course, that is unless you actually do care about the lore in this game. But Sister Location doesn't really take into account all the people that are there for the game and the actual gameplay. So this game targets a specific group of people, which are the lore heads. Those are into the franchise mostly for the lore, which probably wasn't the best move. I know there's a lot I didn't talk about in this video, especially lore-wise, so I don't even want to think about it. But there are a bunch more YouTube videos out there that go way into depth about lore and other aspects of this game. This is just my own opinion and my experience with the game. And you know what? I still like this game because I remember what it meant to me as a kid. And I remember how crazy it was back then in 2016. But I've played so many horror games since then, and I'm a bit more of a critical thinker. I'm able to see the many faults and flaws in this game while still appreciating what it did for the horror community and FNAF community back in the olden days. This game brought a lot of new ideas, lore-wise and gameplay, to the table that I can seriously appreciate. So if you like this game or you hate this game, leave down a comment below telling me why, and let's have a respectable conversation. Feel free to suggest any more FNAF games or other games that you want me to talk about, because I really like this style of content, and I think I'm going to keep it going. Sister Location was not as great as I remember it to be, but you know what? I'd play this game any day over Security Breach.